Information spreads everywheres on our planet digitally. Everything you post is accessible to someone else. Some monsters would try to take advantage of this system of information and use it to solicit minors inappropriately. Today, we expose one of those predators. Today we're talking about an individual named CJFarmer on Discord, someone who attempts to prey on 11-year-old boys while being 18 years old, soon to turn 19. Not only does he do this, but he also tries to manipulate other minors, or just minors in general, into feeling sorry for him by pretending to indulge in self-harm behaviors. I hope this gives you an idea of how awful an individual CJFarmer truly is. A ticket was created in my server by an anonymous victim who had dealt with CJFarmer firsthand. Back in 2020, this victim was introduced to CJFarmer. They tell us that when they met, CJFarmer was 18, soon to be 19. The victim goes on to tell us that they were 11 years old at the time. Eventually 14 after knowing them for a couple of years. They had met through a real-life acquaintance, which is very, very genuinely scary, by the way. I wouldn't ever want to know a predator IRL, so that's a side note. This IRL friend and the victim, our victim, were very, very close and had a partnership going on at the time. They had an ongoing joke where they would adopt their friends, and after some time, CJFarmer, the predator, wanted to feel included in this adoption ordeal. And eventually, he was now adopted. Does that mean I can say it? CJ, you're adopted. You're a predator too. It doesn't get much worse. Anyways, sorry, back on track. The victim goes on to tell us that CJFarmer got very attached, and most of the things they had done inappropriately with this victim was on call. When the victim confronted their partner about CJFarmer, the IRL partner, they didn't believe him. CJFarmer would constantly solicit this minor by making sexual comments or remarks about this 11-year-old, and CJFarmer would also just blatantly threaten to harm himself if the victim did not reciprocate getting into a call with him. Truly manipulative behaviors. And if the victim attempted to leave, he would tell the victim that he was going to commit death, or in other words, end his own life, or uninstall or unplug, whatever you want to call it. The victim continues to tell us that even when they prepared for school, CJFarmer could not be left alone, or he would attempt to take his own life. This resulted in the victim trying to sneak their phone to school, and also being forced to stay up incredibly late on multiple occasions. This is not good for developing minors who need their rest for school, nor is it this minor's responsibility to take care of you, CJ. You're an adult, and you best start acting like it. Not only is your behavior manipulative, but it's repulsive and strange. The victim confronted CJFarmer later again on his awful and manipulative behavior, and of course, to no amends, he continued to display his true predatory colors. While CJFarmer was adopted, they would frequently reciprocate this "I love you" word usage to this underage individual. Our 11-year-old victim was constantly uncomfortable because of this "I love you" reciprocation. I find it genuinely disgusting and weird, CJ, that you're able to say these words to a minor. It's just genuinely strange. Genuinely, there's no other words for it. It's just weird. Supposedly, CJFarmer also had a relationship with a minor previously, according to our victim, which, given what we see here and has been displayed purely by his behavior alone around with this current minor, I wouldn't doubt it at all. You smoke once, you're bound to smoke again. You groom a child, you're bound to groom again. Seriously, genuinely disgusting, CJ. Genuinely gross. CJFarmer called and admitted to having a girlfriend to the victim, and they were happy for him. CJ's girlfriend had called him, and he forgot to mute himself while being on a call with our victim. The victim overheard a conversation between the two about them possibly meeting up in real life. But the girlfriend talked about how her parents wouldn't like that happening, or appreciate it happening. So, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Why are you trying to meet up with this girl, CJ? It already sounds like it's an illegal situation to be in. It just genuinely sounds like a red flag to me. So I don't know. But anyways, it sounds like CJFarmer is a repeat offender and probably is already on a watch list somewheres, if I had to guess. Also, again, like I said earlier, making plans to meet up with someone who's presumably a minor at this point is seriously just downright disgusting and genuinely illegal. I hope you get caught in a sting operation, you sicko. A week later, the victim asks CJFarmer about his relationship with his girlfriend, and CJ tells the victim that he had broken up with his girlfriend because CJ knew he would get arrested for being in a relationship with this individual. And I just genuinely had to sit there and pause. And what could this mean? We all already know what this means, though. Seriously, though, there's just no other explanation. CJFarmer solicited a minor and got into a relationship with a minor and wanted to meet up with this underage individual, but couldn't risk doing so or he would wind up in prison and face repercussions for being disgusting. I hope you wind up in jail regardless, CJ. Seriously. You deserve it, dude. You deserve it. Our predator CJFarmer would beg for the victim's Snapchat and constantly requested to see the victim's live location. While being in a call with CJ, he threatened self-harm to himself, and so the victim turned on their location. This is truly, genuinely horrifying. Imagine a predator online having access to your real-life location. The only place where you should genuinely feel safe, and now all of a sudden you can never truly feel safe even in your own home because this guy online has access to your location. He can pull up at any time. If the guy is delusional enough to plan to meet up with another victim, then he's most certainly delusional enough to follow through. And I'm genuinely scared for this victim, and I'm glad they've come forward about this piece of garbage person. And to the victim, I'm sorry, we're sorry that you suffered in silence for so long, and know that we've got your back, and you're not alone anymore. Up next, we have a couple of screenshots from the victim being sent to us. As you can see in this screenshot, CJ can't deal with it anymore. Now, I have no idea what the context is behind this screenshot, but it seems CJ's using the whole manipulation tactic of self-harm still. CJ, it's overused and it's not cool. Seriously, stop it, dude. Continuing with this tactic of self-harm and manipulation, you can see that in this screenshot, he says he wants to cut himself and sends a blood emoji and a knife emoji. I just gotta say, dude, this is so genuinely sad. Whose man-child is this? Like, be so for real. Who raised this guy to act like this with minors? Brother, if you need a therapist, get a therapist. Self-harm is a genuine and very serious thing. Your mental health does matter, but it doesn't matter when you start preying on minors and try to use it as an excuse to justify your disgusting behavior. It won't fly. It genuinely will not fly, dude. In the following screenshot, you can see that CJFarmer calls this minor cute, which is just genuinely downright disgusting and weird. I don't know why you do this unless you were a certified creep, possibly even a certified lover boy. You can see in this next screenshot that CJFarmer wants to meet up with the victim's friends, which again is just really weird. Someone who begs for locations and threatens self-harm, as well as plans to meet up with a minor in real life, isn't really someone I would want around my children or friends, to be honest with you, or really just anybody in general. With how mentally unstable the guy's acting, I can't say I'd want them around my friends, period. That's just moral of the story. Next, CJFarmer talks about allergy meds. And oh man, oh boy, do I hate allergies too. I just recently found out that I was allergic to trees and grass. I'm not joking, by the way. And, you know, it has been the biggest pain in my butt. I even have my pills right here. Anyways, sorry, just not enough about me. CJ mentions that his allergy medicine makes him feel worse and gives him the urge to, quote, want to die even more. And to that, I say, perhaps go visit a doctor or go to that really sketchy website, you know what I'm talking about? BetterHelp, I think it's called. They totally don't have strange practices. Maybe they'll be able to help you. They seem like the kind of guys to help you. Anyways. CJFarmer then goes on to seek some strange reassurance from this minor, and for what reason, I don't really know, to be honest with you. CJ just complained about he doesn't have friends. And you know what? Maybe that's for the better, because I believe most of them, if not all of them, would be underage, and you would still solicit them, because, you know, you're a piece of crap. So, wah wah. Again, this 18-year-old calls this underaged individual his mother, or mom. And you know, is this not the most enormous red flag that an adult human can have? Or am I not seeing things properly? Am I not seeing clearly? You know, recently my vision has been getting a whole lot worse while doing VR and just in general. I need more sleep. But this is undoubtedly some sort of attribute of mental health issues. Mommy issues? Something? Can someone with a medical diagnosis please tell me what's going on here? I gotta understand where this guy's coming from. Please and thank you. The victim's phone dies while on a call with CJFarmer, and CJFarmer says he feels like his mom has abandoned him. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this was true in real life for you, CJ. No offense. I mean every offense. CJ then calls his, quote, mother figure, otherwise known as the victim, beautiful, and continues to beg for the attention of this minor. And to that, I just gotta say, I don't ever just, like take out the trash and then see my mother on the porch and go, oh wow, my mother is super beautiful. I'm sure she is a beautiful woman, but like, in a sense that you don't really know this person, you're not related to them, you're just being a creep on the internet. Genuinely, you're just calling this strange person that you don't know beautiful. And it just goes to show how weird you are. Or someone, maybe I'm looking too into it, but it's just genuinely strange, and I'm not going to change my mind. So, in this next screenshot, you can see that CJ requests to see the miner's location on Snapchat maps, which is genuinely just very disgusting and very concerning. I don't, if I was a parent, I would not feel safe knowing that some strange, gross man on the internet had access to my child's location or my location. I would feel so very unsafe, and I'm sure this victim genuinely does as well. And I hope with exposure that something can be done about this awful individual. And I really am. My heart goes out to the victim, genuinely. I'm so sorry you've had to deal with this in silence for so long. And then we've got some very furry type messages being sent here with a rar XD nuzzles cuddles. Dude, CJ, go repent of your sins, my dude. This is an 11-year-old underage individual, and you're sending gross displays of affection to this minor digitally, otherwise soliciting a minor. And for what? Genuinely for what? Help me understand, because I don't get it. I don't understand where you're coming from with this. It's just makes me sick. Genuinely, you just make me sick. There's no other way around it. Next, CJ decides to send what appears to be a cringe-worthy TikTok. So I'll go ahead and watch this live with you all now. Let's get into this, I guess, man.
There's been a rumor going around that you're a vampire.
Actually, this is incorrect. I'm Gru from Despicable Me. Get it right, please.
Well, I'm really pale. Can't go out in the sunlight.
You see, as a lighter-skinned, toned individual, I completely understand the pain of being pale and sparkly in the sunlight. And also, sunburns. Yeah, I need some good sunscreen, dude, you know how it is.
I stay up all night. I like my meat bloody.
Hey man, I like staying up all night too. Playing horror games and playing video games. Maybe like PUBG or some Fortnite, getting some W's with the mods. I don't think this blood tasty meat thing means what you think it means, but maybe, I don't know. You're the vampire here. I guess I'm not a vampire.
I have a neck-biting kink.
What? Nah, bro. What is this, dude? I don't know any vampires that are biting because they have a neck-biting kink. I think it's just because they're hungry. What kind of whack vampire are you, brother?
And I have really sharp teeth, so... Alright. You wanna get garlic bread? Fuck yeah, I do.
Oh my goodness, garlic bread? That's so quirky and funny! Oh my god. Wow, CJ, you are such a genius for sending this to a minor. Oh my goodness. Wow. Brother, you do realize that you sent this TikTok where they talk about having a neck-biting kink to a minor, an 11-year-old, and you're 18, turning 19 soon? Oh my goodness, dude. Just get out, dude. Again, in this screenshot, you can see the minor admits to having to sneak their phone to school to speak with CJFarmer to make sure he does not attempt to harm himself in any sort of form or way. But, he obviously continues to threaten that he's going to self-harm or hurt himself in some way, which is just, again, very manipulative behavior on his end. Very strange. Very gross. More cringe-worthy messages are sent from CJ to his victims, such as hugs, pats, cuddles, and finally, ooh-woo. No, please, just genuinely stop sending this crap to a minor, CJ. It's freaky, and it's weird, and you need help. Genuinely, you need mental assistance. You also request that this minor bite you. And if this person is supposed to be your mom, as you believe she is, why are you asking them to bite you? I genuinely don't understand. I'm pretty much over this entire situation. You're so gross, genuinely so gross. Get help. Finally, CJFarmer receives a warning from the victim directly about his inappropriate remarks and sexual remarks and admits to wanting to take a break from their friendship. They acknowledge that they can't take much more of CJFarmer's weird and gross behavior, and the victim tells CJ that they have their own issues to worry about. And it's true, they have their own life, their own friends, their own education to worry about, and CJ, you're hurting this minor. You are quite literally bothering them, and you're an adult. Just as the minor says, you have access to resources that can help you. You have resources at your disposal that you aren't using, such as therapy. There is no need to vent to the minor any longer, period. It's done. Don't do it again. CJFarmer ends it off by admitting to making, quote, mistakes in their friendship. Yeah, dude, you've made more mistakes than I can count on my fingers, and also maybe broken more laws than I can count on my fingers, too? Who knows? But anyways, the victim comes forward by apologizing for their tone and admits that they believe that they need therapy. Honestly, it's probably because of you, CJ, that this minor needs therapy. You probably have left some very real and genuine scars on them, and they probably live in fear to this day because of you having their location. I know I would. It's very scary, genuinely scary. But overall, it's not the minor or the victim who needs therapy. It's you, CJ, who needs therapy. It's you who has been the issue the entire time. And just genuinely, as I've been saying the entire time, dude, please get help for yourself. Or just don't. You know, keep being the bad person that you are and go to prison for it. Face some repercussions or own up to your actions, dude. It's so genuinely disgusting to see that you've gotten away for this for so long and haven't been held accountable. You're not an adult. You're a child in the skin of an adult, basically, is how I see it. And I'm disgusted. Seriously disgusted. Well, overall, CJFarmer is just one of hundreds of predators out there lurking in the shadows, waiting to take advantage of our generations of children. So, there's still very much so work that needs to be done, even every moment there are active predators out there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this exposed video, and hopefully we can expose all those other predators out there as well. If there's something I need to see, please fill out the doc in my server, and I'll see you all then. Remember to report instances of grooming as well to the police and to the hotline. And stay safe, folks. I love y'all. Peace.